here we are in my office, woo! At the request of my Patreons. I was requested to do the Suzuki here from somebody in the Patreon, and I said, you know what? Let's do it, why not? If you haven't seen these videos before, this is just where I give you my just off-the-cuff reaction. I have not even looked, I don't even know the last time I've been on Suzuki's website. I literally just pulled it up, clicked record, here we go, and I'm gonna give you my reaction to what they got going on. Suzuki, ultimate in every way, the 2022 Hayabusa. Full experience, watch now. I don't know, do I want the full experience or do I want to watch it now? The 2022 Hayabusa. It's the same bike, isn't it? At its core, I don't think they've ever actually changed this bike. It looks better than it's looked before. It still looks like a walrus, but cooler walrus? A little more sharp, a little more. I got into a fight one time with a kid who was telling me, he's like, Busas are all turbocharged, bro. It's like, no, they're not. People turbo them. Yes, they do. That's why it's called Busas, because they're boosted. Oh my god. What can we say about this bike? It's got a hell of an engine. You ever ridden one of these things? They are quick. It's more upright than you'd think it'd be. It's a fairly comfortable bike. It is a sport touring bike. 18-something thousand dollars. Honestly, that's not bad. Isn't that what leader bikes cost now, basically? They are an icon. They've been around for a long time. I'm glad to actually see them give it a what I think is a proper facelift. Let's move on. The youth motorcycles. They got the little 50 in here, the DRZ 125. I like that they have got the plastics make them almost look like the big bike, you know, that's fun, it's fun. But here's what I really like. I like that they still have a little 85 two-stroke. Two pictures. Two pictures, come on Suzuki. These things only have a radiator on the one side, so it's kind of funny looking. Radiator shroud on the one side, and then the other side is just the two-stroke pipe. I just remember though, when I was in motorcycle tech school, we were all told two-strokes were dead, they're going away, but no, they're still kicking around. What do they have in the off-road? We've already seen these two. The RMX 450Z. I remember when this thing came out, I thought, oh man, people are gonna start playing those like the WR. It's just gonna be like another WR. I think I've seen one of these in my life with a plate on it and a Supermoto kit. It's funny how similar it looks to the WR. You know what I'm saying? Like these bikes were getting on such a level where it's like what this frame is, the welds on it, the engine, the exhaust, everything is so in the same place and similar. Kind of crazy. The specs are all there. I think it's still, yeah, it's still 5-speed, but so is my WR. WR is fine like that. 272 pounds. Yeah, it's all the right numbers. Like I'm always surprised that we didn't see more people on these things. Do you have any decent photos? Why is it when we go to gallery we've got that, but you actually have a couple actual photos here? Motocross bikes. You got your 250, 450 variant. We already saw the 85. Let's look at the 450 here. What do they got going on? Is this thing just behind the times? Tuning the electronic fuel injection and ignition system for maximum performance is easy thanks to Suzuki's smartphone-based MX tuner. Yeah, that's Yamaha started doing that too at some point. You got the tuner, get it, some other stuff in here no one cares about. Starter, primary kickstarter with automatic decompression. Yeah, they're trying to fancy it up as best they can, but it's still kickstart. It's a competitive world. And if you're not coming out with a new bike every few years, you're gonna fall behind. Let's jump to sport bikes. Well, we've already seen the Hayabusa. Looks like we have, what, 1, 2, 3 different versions of the GSXR 1000. What's the deal? What does it mean? I will say, I mean, wow, they do have a leader bike as low as 15,000. That's pretty ugly. Wow, is that what they look like now? Again, why don't y'all have any real photos of this thing? How am I supposed to determine what this thing actually looks like with these photos? I don't know, it's got some weird thing going on with the headlight. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy about these colors. Come on, Suzuki, y'all used to have super loud colors on your bikes. We could have black or like a kind of light gray black. Engine features. It's fast. Okay, what's with the other ones? Are the other ones better? We'll look at the top one real quick here. Well, I'm liking the color better. At least it's got a little more color about it. Oh yeah, it's got something going on with the suspension. No, it couldn't take any more pictures of your nice version. Just two, not even real photos. Whether it was like the renderings or whatever. Suzuki, I know people that take really good photos and like to ride. Do you need to just hire some people to like hire Chase? He'd love that. What's going on there? What's the thing that's gotten better? It should be really apparent. I don't feel like reading through all this and trying to remember what the other one had. Bam, key features. This is what you're getting when you get this one. I know it's something to do with the suspension, but I don't like looking for it. Race technology, blah 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 blah. It's race stuff. It's cool. I mean, look, you can see there's some kind of nitrogen or some kind of piggyback on that thing. Probably got more adjustability and massaging you can do with it than anyone ever needs for a realistic street bike, but people might take it to the track. 750, they're still doing it. I love that they do a 750. Have you ever ridden a 750? It's the 600 chassis basically with a little bit board stroked out to 750. 419 curb weight. That's good. Suzuki, I appreciate you sticking with the 750. Then you got the Gixxer 600, same thing we just looked at, but with a 600 and $1,000 less apparently. Pay the extra $1,000, get the 750. If you're ready for the Gixxer 600, just get the Gixxer 750. You're not gonna join some 600 race class. Oh, look at this, the GSX 250R. Wow, I don't know, this styling of that is, I thought I liked it till I clicked on it, now I don't know what I think. It's a bit weird. Do we have any better pictures? Let me guess, you're gonna have the two. I'm not going to Google images every time to see what these things look like. If you can't take better photos, I don't know. Maybe I'm not interested in your brand because I can't tell what they look like at a quick glance. Suzuki, try harder. Who's buying this thing? Even if you love how it looks. You know, Yamaha's got the R3, Ninja 400, you can get a CB 300 or 500. I just don't see anybody in the market for this thing. Do you own one? Let me know. GSX-S 1000FZ. In general, motorcycle manufacturers, can we like maybe stop naming bikes a bunch of just random letters and numbers? Like call that the swishback. Not switchback, swishback, swishback. Yeah, I don't know. Just come up with names, name things. Let's look at the fancy one. What is this thing? Does this actually belong in here or is this more of a touring type thing? It looks to me like a touring thing. Good Lord, it looks like a scooter coming at you from the front end, like a big mega scooter. It also kind of looks like a fish. Let's go to gallery and look at the one photo this time. One! Oh, Suzuki. What are you doing? It's got Brembo brakes on there? It does, yeah. Hey, sport touring-ish, I suppose. Got the Gixxer 1000 motor, so you know it's gonna rip. Trash control, blah, 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 the normal stuff, power modes, the things. It's got the things. 474 pounds. Woo! This is the Gixxer 1000 engine, but you're getting it at a Gixxer like 600 whatever price. Hey, that might be a cheat right there. That might be like a cheat code, you know? Let's go quickly to the sport touring real quick. There's just two bikes in there, then we'll go back to the street ones. Whoa! What is this thing? This thing's wild. Oh my God, I love this. It looks like a robot from a movie. Please have more than 2 photos of it. Genuine accessories. That helps. Oh God, look, they have more than 2. Got the hard bags baked in, upright position, at command position with a big windscreen. I mean, I guess the mirrors are just slightly wider, so if the mirror's clear, you should be good in the rear. Like actual stuff about this. Yeah. See if the wife was like, I want to ride with you on your motorcycle and I want to go long distances. I'm not old enough for the Goldwing. I could do that. Develop our high-speed grand touring. I get it. I believe it was, sir. Why don't they have this level of stuff though for all their bikes? Like multiple pictures. I still wish they had some in the field photos. Oh, in the black one you get the gold subframe. Ooh. Did the blue one have that? Am I being dumb? It did have that. I'm dumb. Engine design. We built an engine. Wow! I love it when you get a graph that doesn't actually tell you any performance figures like numbers. They just give you the general graph. This thing's only $13,800 for that bike? I think that's like really good, isn't it? I mean, like an equivalent BMW is gonna be way more than that. I mean, just the Gixxer 1000 on its own was more than that. All right, let's look at these street bikes here for a minute. There's a lot to look at in here. We won't probably go to each and every individual one. Oh, let's go to the Katana. The Katana, they brought back the can of tuna. They brought this back a few years ago, and you will either love or hate the styling of this thing. I kind of like it. Maybe it's because like when I was a kid, the can of tuna was kind of a cool bike. Then later it was kind of like they just kept making them like the old school air cooled ones. Your friend would call you up, be like, "Dude, I bought a 600, a Suzuki," and he'd show up on an air cooled Katana, and you're like, "Oh." This one is got like the Gixxer 1000 engine. It's still 13.5. I mean, it's cheaper than the normal one. Got the good numbers in there for the most part. So yeah, basically again, another just naked Gixxer 1000, which they already basically have a couple of. I like it. I think it's neat. It doesn't look like they made it for 2021, so I don't know if it's still around. If you don't want the Katana version, then I guess you can get this version, which again, it's like the same motor, same thing. I can't even really beat Suzuki up for this because a lot of manufacturers share engines and share things and make multiple things off of a single, you know, platform. I feel like Suzuki's doing it a lot though. They're taking like the platform being like sport bike, weird Katana old school thing. Also just here's Gixxer naked thing. It's like getting a lot of use out of what they're building here. This thing's pretty radical style too. And again, we get two photos. This front end looks like it's missing parts, honestly. Wow, the price is decent though. I'll give that. It's got a decent price. Wait, there's a GSX-S 1000 and then for slightly less money is a Z and it's got a little bit different styling. Then there's an F with this kind of the touring thing. I think we looked at that. Yeah, that's the one with the big front end and the FZ. Oh my God, you guys make too many versions of the same thing. I know I was literally just applauding you for this, and now I'm angry. I've gone the other way. I'm angry. There's too many choices. You give me too many choices, and I can't make up my mind. 4 different versions of the 750. It's the naked version of the bike we just saw. I get it. Let's look at the SV. There's the normal SV, then they got this one up here, which is like the hipster version. Okay, let's just look at the normal one. We get it. That's a hipster version of this. The SV650. I feel like the frame looks like the original frame, like it's gone the other way. Super solid bike, always been a very well priced bike. This is a bike, anytime someone's told me, hey, I'm looking at a bike, so I'm looking at a SV650, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Get an SV650. Little street bike that'll get the job done, just do a little bit of everything, not cost you a lot of money. More than enough power to move around traffic in 2 photos. 432 pounds, it's a little heavy. You got the Ninja 650, or Z650 I guess, right? The Z650, and then the MT FZ07, like what I have, or had, I should say. Mine's so modified at this point. They're all similar priced, all very solid little bikes you could do a little bit of everything with. I think the problem with the SV650 and the Z650 is the MT07. It's just a little bit better. I wouldn't say it necessarily has like amazingly better chassis design, suspension, or brakes. The motor in the MT07 is just gnarly. It's funny because like you look at overall output and these are all fairly similar, but the MT's just got a rocketing, more hardcore motor. And you can do wheelies on it and not starve out oil to the front cylinder. This has been a solid bike for them. I think Suzuki got comfortable with this thing and really hasn't done a whole lot with it. But still love it. I mean, I'm glad it's still around. Let's look at cruisers here for just a second. We've got these things which are just so boring. If I do all these, I'm gonna get bored. Let's go with the big Boulevard here. I remember this was one of the first cruisers I rode that wasn't like a Harley or something. I was at a dealership. I jumped on it, fired it up, and I was like, this, I mean, it's rumbly, it's a big V twin, but it almost started and felt like you were on a sport bike engine, you know? The way it revved, the way it responded. I remember taking it around the block and being like, this thing is quick. It's quick, it's got a massive, hilarious tire on the back, which I'd show you a picture of, but they gave me 2 photos of it. It's only $15,300. I mean, what size engine does this thing have? 1783cc. Big ol' honkin' V-twin. Shaft drive, 5-speed, doesn't need any more than 5 gears. 240 rear tire, you gotta love that. 5-gallon fuel tank, 764 pounds. You don't wanna drop it. You're gonna have the problem that all these Japanese cruisers are gonna have. As good as this thing is, if you're buying it to be a part of the cruiser crowd, they won't have you. So buy it if you're interested in having a cruiser for your own self and you don't care what anyone thinks. This thing's sick. It's a great price. I love it. Moving on. Touring. This is just cruisers with windscreens, isn't it? I can't. You get it. You get it. If I show you that picture right there, do you need to see any more than that? It's chrome. It's got a V-twin. Fake air cooling. There's a big radiator in the front. The problem that a lot of Japanese brands have is these bikes that they're just trying to be a Harley. That's all they're trying. This is just trying to be like, I couldn't afford the Harley, so I got this. Because it's reasonably priced. And I hear you, man. I get it. And if you're doing it because you like how it looks and you don't care what anyone thinks, then go for it. But again, I love it when the Japanese don't try to build something that looks like everything else. Like that Boulevard thing we were just looking at actually looks cool. This to me just looks like a try-hard bike. Oh, a Venture, here we go. A Venture, you know me, I'm an adventure guy now. That bike looks cool right there. So you see all these ones down here, V-Strom 1000s. These were the 1050 motors. They just still called them the 1000. This is the same bike basically, the new Adventure one versus the old one. It just has different bodywork on it. It's not really a new bike. They kind of said it was, but I don't think it really was. Is there any good photos of it? Jesus, no, again. Of course, they're only showing us 2020. Maybe they might not have imported any for 2021. Who knows, there might be a bunch sitting on the floor unsold. I mean, I still think it's a good looking bike, but if you go down here, the numbers will tell you what you need to know. 19 front, 17 rear. They are at least a wire wheel, which is a lot more hardcore. That always, you know, that indicates at least it can take some good impacts. I mean, I can't complain. I've got an old bike on 17s, but they are wire wheels. But what I'm saying was when you see the 19 up front, you know it's like, not as hardcore. I'm noticing, Joe, I'm not seeing, a lot of these bikes, I'm not seeing suspension travel. Am I not looking in the right place? They kind of overload you with stuff on here. 43 millimeter KYB, inverted forks. Yeah, how much do they move? What's the travel? Windscreen can be adjusted to 11 different positions. That's great. That's great. How much travel does it have? Does this thing have a bunch of electronics that are gonna get in the way when I'm trying to do cool stuff that I gotta sit there and turn off every time? Probably, from all these paragraphs. 544 pounds. Is she a big girl? Yeah. Of course, the yellow one's so cool because the yellow one kind of reminds me of the old DR 800. It's got kind of that look about it. Then you got the old 650 version thing. I mean, do love that. I do like that 19-inch front wheel that's tubeless. Kind of, I could steal that whole front end right there. Ooh, actually, I need to look into that. I wonder what the dimensions are to that. So you got the DR200. This thing's old, but it's fine. 5 out the door for that. Keep in mind, I paid 6 out the door for a CRF 300L with ABS. You like these things, you go watch Baker X Derek. He's got one. So the 650. Again, this is a bike that's been around since like the early 90s. I think it's had a little bit of maybe bodywork changes over the years. Honestly, Suzuki, screw it. Quit trying to make it look modern. I say you go the other way and straight up bring back some crazy purple and white, just old school theme with a purple seat. These things used to have a purple seat. Dude, just own it. I mean, I swear you'd sell more of them. Carbureted, air-cooled, 366 pounds. She's heavy, but people love these things, and they are comfortable. So the DRZ400S. And this is what I had. I had one of these that I turned into an SM. Look, what can we say? It's the DRZ. It's been around for a long time. Someone told me they didn't even change the graphics for 2020. Wait, am I seeing that right? They really didn't change them. No bold new graphics? For years, all Suzuki would put on here under features, it would say new, bold new graphics, bold. And everyone just made fun of it. And they're like, I can't wait for the bold new graphics. Here's the thing, this bike is old, right? It came out originally in 99. The amount of popular it is versus how out of date it is crazy. I don't know what they're waiting for to update this. Unless Suzuki's just in a really bad spot and they just can't do it. But I can't imagine for all these years, they've definitely come out with so many different new models and upgraded all these other bikes in the lineup. Why can't the DRZ get some attention? And I think on the one hand, they've been saying, why bother? Because I don't think there's been a lot of real good competition against the DRZ. I think we all know it's actually been kind of on its own. The CRF 300L that I just got is one of those bikes that's starting to put pressure on it. The new KLX 300 will put some pressure on it. Hopefully Yamaha will come out with like a WR 300 or something. In America, they can sell this thing, even though it's still carbureted, no cat, all this other stuff, because it's grandfathered in. They make a change to it. If they add fuel injection or bore it out or do all this stuff, they'll have to bring it up to the current standards. So that's been always the thing. Everyone's saying, oh, well, they don't want to bother, they don't want to bother. That's crap. First of all the tooling and R&D has been well paid for on this bike. They've been raking in money for the last few years. We've seen it can be done. You don't have to spend $1 million to do this. You can bring this bike up to standard, and I don't think it's going to bankrupt you. Look at what Kawasaki's done, KLX 300. That bike is technically built on a bike that's even older than the DRZ. That's like from the mid-90s. The old KLX 250. They took that bike, it was a kickstart carbureted dirt bike, and they've updated it throughout the years. New bodywork, fuel injection, e-start. It's now a 300cc. So there's no reason Suzuki couldn't do something like that themselves, you know? That bike, that cow is still built on the old engine and the old frame. They were able to do some tweaks, some stuff to it, and get it there. Bull crap that Suzuki can't do the same thing. And here's the thing, they would have such a winner if they upgraded this bike. I would love to get another one of these bikes, but I want to see them do something to it. And I know everyone wants them to make a DRZ500 aluminum frame, 6-speed. I believe me, and I want that too, more than anybody. But at this point, let's say we're just trying to be as cheap as possible, Suzuki. How do you upgrade this? Start by at least putting fuel injection on it. And here's the great thing, it's already been developed. They developed it like in the mid-2000s for a quad that shared the same motor. Different exhaust with an O2 sensor and a cat. I'd like to at least see them punch it out, a little bore, a little stroke, it up to like a 450, spread the gear ratio out a little bit, update the bodywork. Oh god, and get rid of the cable drive hub. Like if they did just that, we would all go nuts for it, even though we shouldn't. We should be mad at you and telling you to please build us a scratch out new bike. Having said that, this bike is still sick. To this day, this bike still makes a lot of sense. They're just solid. I mean, I beat the hell out of mine. A bike I love and holds a special place in my heart. So, I think we've gone through Suzuki's lineup there pretty well. What are they up to? There's some things in there that were exciting and neat, but there's this brand as a whole is kind of like, meh. I would love for Suzuki to have some cooler things. Maybe a more hardcore adventure bike, an updated DRZ, more flamboyancy in their sport bikes, something like that, you know? But yeah, there we go. That's my think thoughts. Letting you know what I think, because I'm the best. So hit that like button, subscribe, do all the things. Woo! There's also a Patreon version of this video that came out earlier. It's ad-free, uncensored, and you can go see that on Patreon. It's just $1 a month. Go check that out. Join the Discord. And what brand would you like me to do next? Are you guys as hungry for them as the Patreons are? Or should I just make these exclusively for the Patreons? I can do that. I don't care. All right, bye-bye.